So here we are with Shane Pfeffer and
Thomas.
Young dashing man, isn't it? Good looks are wasted on the youth, Shane.
Well,
you know?
tell me about it.
You know? It's like the young women, they're wasted on young men. You know? Now,
Jesus.
now
Right.
we can edit it out, don't worry.
Yeah, it's right.
Now, look, we're just talking about this fantastic auction, 24th of August, Lucky's Loan. This was a business, an institution on the Gold Coast, on the Glitter Strip. If you were short of cash, you went to Lucky's Loans. You went to and see Mr. and Mrs. Lucky to see if you could get an advance on your on a possession. And we're here with Shane. Shane knew Mr. and Mrs. Lucky, and this is their auction. It's an auction on the 24th of August, and some of these pieces were from the Lucky's Loans office. They kept these pieces in Brisbane. They're being auctioned off at the Southport Yacht Club, 24th of August, and the proceeds are going to the Australian Red Cross. You met Mr. and Mrs. Lucky, Shane. Tell me about that.
Well, that's correct. I first met, and my first involvement with Fred and Irene Carr, Mr. and Mrs. Lucky, from Surfers Paradise in around about 1972, I would say, and about 70, or perhaps 73, they established a business, their first pawnbroking business in Cavill Avenue.
I see.
And it was a very successful business, and as an auctioneer in those days, on occasions we sold some of their unredeemed pledges. They always, the Gold Coast was a marvellous place during the 70s and 80s.
Yes.
It was really buzzing.
Yes.
And with the establishment of the casino.
Yes.
Around
Casino
about,
mid-80s?
Correct.
Mid-80s?
As the casino came on board,
Yes.
they really started to take some prestigious pieces.
Yes.
Pieces we didn't see in Brisbane. Very valuable, and pieces that stood out came through our auctions. They were a very good business couple. They had originally the pawnbroking business in Surfers in Cavill Avenue. They then established another pawnbroking business on the Pacific Highway at Surfers, and then eventually a third branch at Coolangatta.
And Mr. and Mrs. Lucky originally Mr. Lucky came out and established.
Fred Carr came to Australia.
Yes.
My understanding is around about 1969.
Yes.
From San Francisco. He was an American.
Mm-hmm.
He met Irene, who was an Australian.
I see.
They married. In fact, Fred met Irene through renting a room in Irene's parents' house. When he came to Australia, he met Irene.
I see.
Friendship flourished.
Yes.
They married.
Oh, charming American, young American with good looks.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Initially, their first business venture on the Gold Coast was Lucky's American Hamburgers.
Lucky. What was a hamburger?
Well,
you know?
well,
who would have seen one of these in Australia?
Well, that's right. And so Lucky's Hamburgers, they established at Surfers. It flourished. Became
As it would, a hamburger. What a great concept.
Fred apparently made a wonderful hamburger, American hamburger. They sold that business. They then thought, well, what will we do next? They established Lucky's Loans office, or Lucky's Pawnbrokers in Cavill Avenue.
Yes.
They had the pawnbroking business at the front.
Yes.
They lived in the residence at the back.
Yes.
They became very successful. They ended up buying several very good pieces of real estate on the Gold Coast as well. And but we're totally committed to their business and also to their customers.
Yes.
They had a reputation of being extremely understanding, and
I see.
and developed quite sincere and genuine friendships with a lot of their customers over the years.
I see. Do any of the Lucky's Loans office remnants remain today? Is there any businesses that remain?
No, I don't believe so.
No, it's sold out there.
Fred became ill I believe, about 12 or 13 years ago.
Yes.
And they decided to close the shops, not sell them, close them,
yeah.
and move back to the United States,
I
where
see.
where they retired.
Yes.
And this sale is a consequence of that situation, because all
Yes.
of the jewellery that they had lent money on over the years
Yes.
was placed with 3 different banks on the Gold Coast
I see.
in safety deposits.
Yes.
We've now been approached, and
Yes.
we have instructions from
Yes.
the attorneys in America
Yes.
who actually flew here to Brisbane
I see.
to organise the release of the goods from the banks.
Oh, I see.
We now have the all of the jewellery pieces, which we're now cataloguing and presenting on our website, ready for
And
auction.
Shane, you told me that it was important to them that they'd actually met you. They wanted to use you
Yes, and it's
because they had known you.
Yes, exactly. Well, we had dealings through the 70s and 80s.
Yes.
I then lost contact with them. I didn't realise
Yes.
that they had actually, I knew that Fred had been not so well.
Yes.
I wasn't aware that they had actually moved back to the United States.
Yes.
And subsequently Fred passed away.
Yes.
Irene passed away about 2 years ago.
I
And
see.
in the course of things, the attorneys have been dealing with their estate with
Yes.
with everything going to the Australian Red Cross.
Well, it's just a fantastic story. You know, the thing I love about it is that Fred was an entrepreneur, small businessman.
Yes.
He probably wasn't that well off when he came to Australia.
I think they arrived here without a dollar in his pocket,
Yes.
virtually.
So he found a wife, started something called a hamburger,
Correct.
and made a lot of money. Sold that business, developed a loans office, pawnbroking type business there, and bought a lot of properties as well. Did very well.
Oh, no, yes, absolutely.
He lived the American dream. That is the dream we all want to live, isn't it? He's had a good life, hasn't he, really?
And you know, one of the things that I'm impressed with, although he was American, and
We love the Americans. Don't
Yes,
get so
absolutely.
nasty there.
But- oh, no,
Churchill abandoned us in 42 with the fall of Singapore. You know, we've got no angst to the British are not our friends, Shane. It's the Yanks who saved us.
But what I was going to say is, it was Fred's wish that the funds realised from all of his hard work during the years go to a charity in Australia. He was
Yes.
very specific about that.
Well, that's fantastic. The Australian Red Cross, you can't get better than that.
No.
That's a great charity.
Oh, without a doubt.
So that's absolutely fantastic. 24th of August, Southport Yacht Club, nab a bargain.